MEI is one I just came up scanning the small caps. Of course, now my screen wants to freeze. One second, guys. All right, can you guys see my screen good?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I was just scanning some of the the small cap names and notice this MEI. We can see this $50 area, kind of going back a couple of years now. This has been a pretty big area, versus $49, $50 area. Definitely a spot. Just want to keep on the radar again. I just had this up just now, so I don't really know much about it, but this upper 50 in time could be a nice blue sky breakout given, the few years this name has been setting up. Again, a little bit tougher that it's, supports versus 40, but if it can, same thing with these other names, if it can pull in, hold above that 200 day and give us a little bit of a tighter entry than just buying 50 versus 48, we'll probably have a better trade on our hands. And then lastly, this TRNK. Nope, this is not the name. I might have typed this one wrong, so I'll have to go back and figure out which name this one was. So not looking at this one. So that's all I got, guys. Evan, if you want to jump in with anything you're looking at, I can definitely type the names up as you call them out.
Yeah. So I posted a couple names last night just of like what I'm looking at for the year. Not super eager to get into anything, but some of my favorites is this D-Dog, Beta Dog. So this one's had some solid strength where it's just kind of been consolidating for the last 5 weeks. You can notice how the volume has been shrinking a lot if you look at a weekly chart. Over like the last 3 weeks, the volume has dried up a lot, which is expected in the end of the year, but still really tight week last week. So this kind of gives a nice low risk opportunity. I'm looking to buy possibly through like 186.50 area, basically above last week's highs. With a stop under that pivot, that little reversal candle that I made 3 days ago, like 172.50. Not too eager to go like full position, whatever it might be. I'm just kind of feeling things out and seeing how things go. Obviously, I like this Tesla that's been talked about. Snow is another one that I really like. Really nice wedge pattern going on here. And if you pull up the moving averages, it's sitting right below the 50-day. So I'm looking for that move back through the 50-day to kind of like take over that area, right around that 360 level. I don't have an exact entry price just yet, so I'm mostly just watching. But again, the weekly chart on this one, if you zoom out, is really, really nice. It's forming a pretty textbook cup and handle. So, I'm looking for that cheat level through the wedge and then the eventual breakout through 400. So on a trade like this, I really want to be patient and try to ride that move up to resistance, maybe sell a little bit at resistance at that 400 level and then let the rest ride, because that's, more of a macro trade and kind of what I'm trying to focus on this year. Other than that, taking it pretty easy. I know that new year, new me psychology can bring a lot of emotions to how you're going to trade these first couple of days. So just remember that the market for the market is just another day. So we have to really see what's going on. It's not just a new year, new market type thing. And that's it.
Definitely agree. Let's see, Kusha, what do you got?
I got WST setting up blue skies through 475 versus previous support. Now previous resistance, now support 460.
Nice. Like it. That's good.
Next name is this GXO up through 93.
I'm sorry, can you say it again? GXO?
GXO, yes. It's a recent IPO. I like it up through 93. It just reclaimed the 20 MA and is showing it pivoted off it. So I like to see it curl up a bit, but it would reclaim the 50 MA up through 93, and that's why I like it. So it could sustain that uptrend.
What was the first one? I'm sorry, Kush, what was the first one you mentioned? That's one other.
WST.
WST. Cool. Sorry.
You're good. Next name, this APP. I like it through previous high of week 97. It's in this little wedge. It's tightening up. Next name is this BRZE. I'm keeping an eye on this 8250 level.
I'm sorry, VRZB?
BRZE.
BRZE. Gotcha.
Up through 8250. No clear pivot yet, or it just needs to establish a clear support for now, but it's a level to keep an eye on. Next name is this DHR. Up through 332. It will look good in time. Next name is this SYNA. Up through 300 in time. As of now, it established a clear pivot at 285. We'll likely see it hold as the longer term MAs catch up.
Sorry, guys, I'm not sure why trading view keeps freezing. Just
That was
give me a
mine.
second.
It's mine's doing the same thing.
Okay. So, Kush, you were saying sign up to 300?
Yep, up to 300. I'd like to see it hold on to that 285 support pivot for now. Next name is this SLAB. Up through 211 or 211.
Come on, trading view. Oh, there we go. Oh, nice. This looks good.
Next name is this IIPR. Little Mickey Mouse flag, but looks good through 266. It's reclaiming the 50 MA. So once you get follow through, it could maintain that trend. Next name.
Mhm.
Next name is HPQ. Up through 38.5.
Hewlett Packard.
It's forming a little cup and handle right now, so it needs time. Needs time, but definitely a level I'm keeping an eye on. And
Yes, this is this. So like with this, it's funny with this HQ. This is like a kind of like an Intel, like kind of the older tech names that have kind of just not really gotten much of the love compared to some of the newer ones. But it definitely is interesting to see, HP back near, I guess, is this their all-time highs? Yeah. So they're at their all-time high. So, path least resistance would be higher. So yeah, crush it. Always great charting as always. Now, anyone else want to jump in?
I've got a few things.
Let's hear it.
FAF.
Yeah. Let me open this back up. And if you guys were wondering who made our handbook cover, you got to thank Dylan for that. He was the one who made the new handbook cover for
I still got
step 11. FAF, you said?
Mhm.
And what's your game plan with FAF?
79 and 70, 79 buy through. Stop just below like near 77.
Okay. So it's, given the move that it just had, like it just pushed through that prior high and it's coming back, it's probably going to have to, and even with a lot of names I mentioned, it's kind of like the same thing where most of these names have gone on a significant run and now they're starting to kind of come back in a little bit, where if this was to go today, like, I don't know if this is going to be really like the day you want to be buying this, but if this was to come in for a couple of days, maybe it comes in at 76, it gets back up to that 79/80 area in say a week or so, probably have a much more higher probability than, the same already going almost 10% in the last week or so, and then expecting another 10% move right after the fact, when that, even when you kind of look at like, even like this little run up over here, it's like where you're trying to get in this next day is like almost like right here, where it's like it's just too soon that like it needs to kind of just reset a little bit. And then, later, a week or two later, it eventually goes. And that's kind of what we want to kind of keep more of an eye on. So I don't know if you're looking to get this today or so, but
No,
maybe
it's still setting up.
okay, cool.
And MDU.
And
Trading you slacking today.
I know trading view is, oh, hold on, it came up. Okay. MDU, we got it.
What's the game plan,
Dylan,
Dylan?
yeah, what you looking at in MDU, Dylan?
Hold on. I need to load it on myself. Yeah, so I've got it marked through 31.
Yeah, so I mean, not really much, especially when you got the 200-day like right there.
Look through on the weekly, it's got like a nice falling.
Yeah, you can definitely see the clear channel there. On the weekly, looks good, but daily wise, you're looking at a stock that just went up. Basically, in the last month, it went from 27 to 30, straight up. And so it's tough to just buy it here after the big move that it kind of made last week and the week before. But I definitely see the macro level, but now it just kind of needs to pull back a little bit, consolidate, let it set up a little bit more. Because right now, where's your support? Are you just putting it under 30, 50?
Yeah.
Is that really a support, or do you think that?
No, it's not. No.
Right. That would be a good spot to have your trailing stop if you were in off of, from where it broke through the 50-day. That would make sense to have your trailing stop there. But to initiate a new buy here, very likely that it could just come out, shake you out, and you're just out of the trade for no reason. So I think this one a little more patient, maybe a pullback to this 30 area to really confirm that it's kind of trending back upwards instead of the downtrend that it's been in. I think you could catch a solid move in that.
Yeah, definitely. And again, that's going to be with like a lot of names right now where basically everything has been like this MDU this last week, like just, in a very extended run on the short term where we have to, I'm trying to like draw out these little like circles to give more like a visual explanation what we're looking at, where we have that run up and we kind of just need that sideways action to show us like what the support is going to be to buy burst at, where it'd be great to risk 50 cents in this name, but you mentioned that you're looking at the weekly on this. So if you're going to trade like the weekly chart, you kind of have to trade the weekly candles as well. You can't, or you shouldn't really look to trade the weekly chart and then look on a 15-minute or prior, low a day stop that isn't going to be a significant one on this weekly candle. The weekly low is 29, prior weekly low is 28. So if that's how you're going to trade it or looking at it, it's like the mindset should be, if I'm going to trade the weekly, I need to have my stop in that same, kind of time frame. But yeah, any other ones, Dylan?
I think there was, but was it this one? I think WH, but I don't know. I think that might have been one.
Okay. Yes, this is very similar with some of the things we're talking about. Like it's, the name's gotten back to that retest, and it's going to be a little harder for us to just rebuy this, say 90 today versus 87.50, where if this is going to be the short term high, this is resistance. This is near, a blue sky area. If it can come back in, maybe even, this prior resistance starts to become support, and it starts to trade in this little range, then up through 90 in say a couple weeks might look amazing. Where right now it's just much harder to be almost perfect buying 90 versus 87.50 and hoping for continuation when that might not be the case just this week, given kind of the overall range this name has been kind of trading in. And that's, again, I'm not, and I don't think, oh shit, Sadie, what happened? Oh, sorry guys, my dog's sitting under my feet and I just stepped on her ear. I'm so sorry. Oh, sorry guys. But yeah, Dylan, so just kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, guys, sorry
Some
about
move up,
that.
Needs consolidation.
All right, so moving on, I see Zach posted a couple. Got this UPST. Looking at start position up through 163. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Wow, this name came back quite a bit. I mean, this is a little tricky one. I definitely see what you're looking at. It's just, it is so beat up that, it's definitely a tricky one. I definitely see what you're looking at here versus at 163, but it is just, everyone in this name for the past 6 months is definitely not thrilled with it. But could be worth a shot. Roblox.
Ben,
Yep.
You mind if I chime in on this one?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm looking at this UPST as well, and something that I posted in the chat a couple days ago was a very simple way to filter out stocks is if it's trading under the 50-day and the 200-day, it still needs time, right? This is kind of like the same way that we don't buy Mickey Mouse bull flags. This is kind of like the Mickey Mouse support base, right? Because it's gotten hit so hard, and like you said, there's a lot of bag holders sitting in this one, so it's going to take a while. Even if it has a 10% day tomorrow, I still don't think it's ready to go, simply because like there's still so much work to do. So don't get faked out by like these small bases. Really let it confirm the uptrend. Don't try to be the first one to be on the way back up, and wait for that 50-day and 200-day to catch back up, since it's riding that resistance.
That's a great point. That was even like with me with this PAYC, exactly what you said, Evan, where it's like, even for PAYC, like the proper entry really was through this 440 to buy up kind of versus up through the support area. And I just got in too soon.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure the exact day. Well, it was here. So I got in this day. I had to stop verse 400. It obviously shook me out. A couple percent loss, not the end of the world, but I really just shouldn't have been in this until it pushed up through this 440 area. Another one was, I can't think of the ticker off the top of my head, but very similar with, what you mentioned and this UPST where, maybe just waiting for this, this like 175, 180 area that, kind of was, some triggers in the past, just to wait for that price or even 200 might be easier because this name could base out a little bit longer.
Definitely.
Versus just trying to catch that perfect bottom. And let me just see really quick if I could find that one other example.
Crowd is another one. I was looking to buy Crowd last week, I think December 27th. If you looked at Crowd, and it kind of broke through that little base that it was forming, but then it just got slammed right back down. So similar situation where it's trading under the 50 and the 200-day, and it just needs more time.
Quick question. What about AME through AMAEH through 75.35? I was giving it through 75.35 versus 69.89. And then, because if you take a look at AME in the last couple of tries, like for example, back in September, he did the same exact move. He consolidated a little bit, and then he moved up to the 100, the 100 level. Then before earnings, he consolidated again, and then this time it seems like it might be the same move.
For years. Doing good, man. How was yours?
Zach, mute yourself. Thank you. SMI, I definitely see the consolidate. It's like a very clear pattern. Just have to remember, 70, 75 versus 69 is $6, which is almost a 10% risk on this trade. So, tread lightly, especially as a support buy. This is kind of one that you would want to build your position into. Maybe start with like a quarter position, see where the confirmation is, and maybe look to add through that like 83 area if it gives another flag right there, something like that. Because the real out right now, the real out is 61. That's where the real pivot, where like real buyers stepped in. Other than that, it's kind of just been consolidating at this level. So you have a high probability of getting shaken out if you have a 69 stop. But if it works right away, if you timed it correctly, then it can be a pretty good trade.
Yeah. Okay. There's also a very thin name. So whatever you were thinking of, putting into this name to start with, I would probably even just start with half of that. just because this is going to be a very thin and wide name. So, and again, I know seeing these moves, like, you could realistically probably get a move back to like 100 in this name. But it might be, like Kevin said, you got at least $10 risk or 10% risk. I'm sorry, kind of going into this.
Okay,
And we got
the last
someone
one.
in the- sorry, Simon, go ahead.
No problem. I wanted to share this one, AZPN through 154, 420. I see a really, like, it's going through this resistance level, I guess, from 154, 150, 154 area back in April 2021, and now it's creating higher lows, and so I don't know what your perception about this one is.
The chart is nice, chart-wise. I definitely see the level. The 50 MA is sitting right under it currently, which is nice, like all the converging trend lines. The only issue with this one is the average volume, which is only 250K for the day. Personally, that's too thin for me. Like, if you look at an intraday chart, there's just like, it just jumps so much. If you were to trade this one, remember to trade it a lot lighter than a normal position, just because with the volume that it has, it can very easily, gap down or whatever it might be. So just tread lightly, but yeah, I definitely see the setup. Really nice level there.
This is like, and I have mentioned like intraday, like if I have a 30-minute up and you can see that like there's just pretty much gaps where the name's just not trading. Where if we pulled up, for example, like Apple on a 30-minute, like there's just trading at every price point. So that's where we mentioned, like, even with the prior name, they're going to be thinner names and be much wider, and you just want to be aware of that there could be 30 minutes where no trading happened, and there could be a 50% or $1 spread, and just someone marketing out could flush the name down. So those are just things you want to just be aware of in some of these thinner type names. I do think this call might end in a few minutes, but we can keep going.
Yeah, 6
through
minutes,
these.
yeah. I'll read the chat and tell you what people are looking at. So EJAZ is looking at PPL through 3050. I would say
So,
macro level, but
yeah, just know it's a utility. It's a utility. So just take that into consideration. If you can get a couple, you get $1 or $2, $2 out of the same would probably be like a pretty big win. Just given how the last 2 months it's only gone $2, so you just want to be kind of aware of that. That's even like why I, not a big fan of this forward. It's just these names don't really move that much. But let's go to the next one.
Yeah, Abby looking at crowd 211.
I mean, this is probably one. Probably just wait till 220.
Yeah, like this was one that I actually mentioned earlier. That's needs more basing after that giant drop. It needs to digest that move so that we can really see that the buyers are showing up. But definitely on watch. I'm watching this one for sure. So we'll see what happens. Next one, Alex is looking at ADNT through 4850/49.
Okay. Yeah, this is kind of similar with a lot of the other names where, it's up in a resistance. We kind of want to see it pulling a little bit and kind of set back up versus trying to buy 49 or 50 versus just 47 and having to be perfect up here, which is going to be a little bit harder with a lot of these names. Definitely see what he's looking at there.
Then we got Kevin P looking at CELH. No entry or anything, but CELH.
You said DELH?
CLH, Celsius.
Oh, CLH.
ELH. Yeah. There it is.
Up to like the 66, 76 area?
I don't know. No game plan there.
Yeah. This seems like another one where it's like, I see the little flag there, but like probably 80 is just probably going to be the spot. You can see, the few times where it's kind of battled in this area where, for now it's support 60, resistance 80. It's kind of in this range. And, it's kind of in the middle of this recent range. Either you buy it through 80 or you try to get some up off of support.
Yeah, the 50 days right at the 80 as well. So that could probably act as resistance for a little bit, but I think through that 50 day in time is going to could be a nice trade. Next one, Abby had AON 303. That's a nice chart. Yeah, I like how this one has based longer than it fell, right? So this one has digested that sell-off. So it makes a lot more sense to look to buy this one versus the UPSD, the crowd, and that other stuff. So I like this one, Abby. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And then probably like time for one more. Alex is looking at BKNG 2430. He said more sideways ideally. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And maybe sneak in one more.
Yeah, go for it.
Amin got cost at 568.
$60. Yeah, I mean, all-time highs like this. I see, you know, just trying to buy through the high. I mean, definitely buying this name at any time in the past has definitely been the smarter
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
And you definitely can't fight the trend of just
Yeah, when
don't
it
know.
comes to a name like this, kind of similar to Dylan's FAF, this stock is in a clear like ascending channel, right? It breaks all-time highs a little bit and then it pulls back, and then it breaks all-time high a little bit and then it pulls back. So if you're buying all-time highs, there's a high probability that it's just going to pull back and you're going to be stuck in initially a losing trade. So for a stock like this, you want to actually look to buy this off support. So you want to wait for it to break those all-time highs, pull back, and then buy on the way up.
I'm with you on that one, Heaven.
And I think that's everything.
All right, guys. I guess we knocked it all out. Great first call of the new year. And I will talk to you guys in the chat.
Peace.